Hello, welcome to this video. Here we're going to focus on using completing the square to solve quadratic equations. The type of quadratic equations will be in focus in this video is where the a of each of these quadratic equation is equals 1. Let's begin with some example. Okay, question number 1. Solve this equation using completing the square x squared plus 11x plus 28. This is what it meant by the a equals to 1. So that's why there is a invisible 1 in this equation. So let's start by solving it. Here I'm going to copy down the question 11x plus 28. So I did not do anything yet so far, just simply copying the question. Now here we go. The very first movement is let's move the constant. Let's move the constant to the other side, meaning moving this one. Okay, let's minus 28 both sides, and that we get negative 20, minus 28 on the right hand side. Now we shall start completing the square, and as we have learned before, completing the square is always focusing on the b divided by 2. So we're going to take the 11 divided by 2. Therefore, just to indicate we add an extra element on the left hand side, 11 divided by 2, and then we shall also add the same element on the right hand side to maintain the value of the equation. Now, this whole equation will come to x squared plus 11x, and now you can keep this as 11 over 2, or if you want to, you can make it into decimal 5.5. Okay, so for this example, I shall put this as 5.5, and therefore here you can reduce this into a number where you get negative 28 plus 5.5 squared, then you got 2.25. Okay, so as we have learned on reversing the squaring binomial, so you're going to get this whole thing into a squaring binomial. So you get the x, and then you get the 5.5. Then according to also to the operations here, the 2ab when it is plus, so we shall put a plus in the middle, and then this whole thing is going to be squared. I want to emphasize so that you can catch the pattern. The x that you get from the previous line, you bring it down. The 5.5 you get from the previous line, you bring it down. And now the rest is just simply 2.25. Then now we're going to square root both sides to get rid of the square. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. X plus 5.5. Now you get the square root of 2.25. And knowing that this could be a positive and a negative answer to that, then with that we're going to get x plus 5.5 equals to plus minus 1.5. Now we can split the solution. First, we can split it to x1, where we can equate that to the positive version of 1.5, and we can split this into the second version with the equate to negative 1.5 version. So I'm just going to show that. So this positive 1.5, you equate that, and then the negative 1.5, you equate to another linear equation, and then with that, we're going to get x1 equals to positive 1.5 minus 5.5, and that will give us to negative 4. And how about here? X2 equals to negative 1.5, and subtract 5.5 both sides, and that it gives to you negative 7. And there you go. So we have successfully solved the first example. All right, so now let's go on to the second example. Use this solve this equation using completing the square. And again, the arrangement of the question doesn't look so directly as the usual quadratic arrangement. So we will take a look at the constant has already been moved to the right hand side. So we can straight away do the b divided by 2. What is the b in this question? The b is 1. All right, so that is a b. Therefore, we're going to put a 1 over 2 square. And of course, we add this component on the left hand side. We will also keep the balance by adding this component on the right hand side. So we will just keep the equation in balance, and we're going to copy down the 12. Now, using the same idea, turning the three-term trinomial into a squaring a binomial. So now I'm going to squaring binomial, the x, we will just bring it down to here, and then there's 1 over 2, because we're going to bring it down to here. You can bring 1 over 2 or 0.5. And then the plus, we're just going to bring it down here to get plus. And therefore, now we got to 12 plus 0.5 square, and we got for ourselves 12.25. Okay, now we are going to square both sides to get rid of the square. So we're going to square it this way. Okay, then to get rid of the square, there we go. So we're going to x 0.5. Now the square is gone. Then here we got a positive and negative version of the root of 12.25. Therefore, let's go to write down the roots. It is equal to 3.5. And there comes the splitting into two sets of linear equation. X1 0.5 equals to the positive version of 3.5. The other one is x2 plus 0.5 equals the negative, a little bit cramped here. Let me write this, share out the space. Okay, plus 0.5 equals the positive version of 3.5. Then the second version where we have 0.5. This time, take the negative 3.5. Okay, therefore solving the linear equation 3.5 minus 0.5, and that gives us 3 as our solution. So the next one, here you got negative 3.5 minus 0.5, and that will nice and smoothly we get the solution as negative 4. Okay, and let's go to the third example. Solve this equation using completing the square, where we have x squared plus 6 equals 5x. And we notice that the constant is on the left hand side, and the x, the b that we want, is on the right hand side. So what we will do is we will swap the two terms. So let's into x squared plus 6 equals 5x. I copied out the question. So let's swap the two terms. The constant we will move to negative, so minus 6 on both sides to move the constant to the right hand side, and we're going to minus 5x both sides in order to move it to the left hand side. There we go. So now we can take the b. What is the b in this equation? Yes, 5. All right. You don't have to worry about the minus, because whenever you square up a negative, you're still going to get a positive value. So don't have to worry about the negative 5. So let's take the b. In this case, the b is 5. We're going to divide 2 and square it up. We add on this extra component to the equation, and to keep it balanced, we will do the same thing on the right hand side. Okay, now we have x squared minus 5x and then plus you can put this into the decimal, and negative 6 plus 2.5 square, that you get 0.25. And now let's reduce this into a squaring binomial. All right, so now the x and the 2.5, just put it down here, and then whatever this is, so we're going to put it there. So that is the squaring binomial, but we reverse it. All right, and therefore now we go to get the um, 0.25. Okay, I think it's time to get rid of the square by performing square root both sides, and therefore we're going to get 2.5. The square is gone, and then you're going to get a positive and negative square root of 0.25. And with that, we will get a linear equation with two possible answer, which is positive and negative 0.5. Now it's just time to split it up to two linear equation. First, you can make it to the positive 0.5. Then the second one, you can make it equal to negative 0.5. With that, you got two simple linear equations, and let's simplify it and solve that to the solution. And now you got 3. And the same thing on the solving the second linear equation, you got this as negative 0.5 plus 2.5, so you got 2. There you go. That is the third example. All right. So let's go to the fourth and final example in this video. Okay. Solve this equation using completing the square. X squared equals 7x plus 16. And as we see also the arrangement going needed to be rearranged. Okay, let's show that. Uh, so the positive 6, yes, we can keep it right on the right hand side. And the 7x, which is the b term, we're going to minus both sides so that it comes to the left hand side. Okay, and let's now take the b. What is the b in this term? Negative 7. And we will just take the 7 divided by 2 and square it up. Alright, so let's go on. Okay, and I want to again, as I did in the first video, I want to show the divided b square up. Alright, and so we get 60. To keep the balance of the equation, we will do the same thing onto both sides to keep the balance. All right, here we have, so we got the x squared minus 7x plus 3.5 squared equals 2. Let's get 60. Work that out plus 3.5 squared. That using calculator, then I got this number. Let me space out this a little bit. It looks a bit cramped. All right, I've got some breathing space. And then now let's reduce this trinomial into squaring a binomial. So we shall go this way. Okay, being the last video, let us show this. We'll bring it down here, and this, we will get it down here, and the sign we will just put in the middle, and this will have a square. All right, so let's see the pattern, minus 3.5. Okay, hope this helps you to see how do we turn from three-term trinomial into squaring a binomial. Now let's time to get rid of the square. What do? Yes, square root both sides. And there we go. So you're going to get x 3.5. Now square root is gone. Therefore, now we got the square root of 72.25. And let's press the calculator and see what is the root for that. 7.25. We get this as positive negative 8.5. Okay, it's time to split the two linear equation. So x1 minus 3.5, we can equate that to the positive version of 8.5, and then the x2 3.5, equate that to the negative version of 3.5. Solve the linear equation and use call the goal. Okay, 3.5 plus 3.5 both sides, and that equates us to 12. There we go. You get it whole. All right, so negative 8.5 plus 3.5 here, and you got that as negative 5. Okay, and there we go. We have shown the fourth example and also the last example in this video. Okay, let's just flash through again the third questions. Okay, the steps that we do, and then the second questions we repeated the procedures or the steps accordingly. And then let's come to the first example. All right, so the whole idea is you want to focus on the b. Then you take the b divided by 2 and square up. That is the first point you want to do. And the second thing, you want to keep the equation balanced by doing the same thing both sides. All right? And then the third thing is you want to reduce from trinomial, the 3 terms, into 2 terms, the square, or we call them square of binomial. And then you get rid of the square by performing square root onto both sides. And remembering to put two possible solutions or two possible roots. All right, one is the positive version, the other one is negative version. And now you come to do the splitting. Now you can take the linear equation, equate it to the positive to get this one. And you repeat the same thing here, but this time equate it to the negative version to get this one. And final step to your success is just solve the linear equation, and there you go. So you will definitely get full marks each and every time you do this. Okay, so you enjoy the process, and I'll see you in the next video. I will try to do another video where the A is not 1. So what are the differences to the procedure, with the assurance that you will definitely get the correct solutions. All right, so that's all for today, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.